Yeah. So the session is being recorded now. Yeah. Okay. So anyone who is from a different background over here, not from testing, not from automation. So we have a huge audience today. Okay, you're not from testing background. That's great. Okay.
I'm from manual only.
You're from manual testing. That's great. Not from testing background. Okay, anyone who is not even from any technical background, like you have not studied any programming during your graduation, like C++, any basics of programming. I hope everyone have studied the basic programming during your graduation. I'm not talking about practical implementation. Practically, we'll be doing it in these sessions. But still, I just want to check. Anyone who have never studied any programming?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Basically, I'm from the background, so I've done BTech from the computer science. But yes, like I'm 2016 pass out, and in my college days, I've never like interested in coding and all things. Currently, I'm working as a manual tester, but I remember only a few things about the coding. Like if you're talking about the C and C++. So basically, for now, I remember only one thing, that there are header files, and even I don't know why we are using it. So I'm like
that's
that
fine.
blank. Blank.
That's completely fine. That's completely fine. It happens. I mean, when we are in graduation and we are doing C++, the purpose why we are doing it, it's never cleared till the time we ended up into a development job where we practically use these things. Right. So if we don't use any, see, let's say if I study any basic programming as well, like C++, and if I don't use it for 6 months, I'm gonna forget all the concepts. So
Yes, sir.
that's completely okay. I just wanted to check. I mean, at least you guys have studied some programming like during your graduation time, could be like 10 years back, 15 years back. That should be fine. But is there anyone who has never touched any programming? Never ever studied any programming?
I'm from a mechanical background and started my career as a
So
software.
I guess Kirandeep, you are saying something, but your voice is very low.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So I was saying that, yeah, I am here. I am from a mechanical background and I started my career in software implementation, and then one after one got started getting the projects, and slowly started moving to the IT profile, and then switched. I better found it to move it to the technical side. So I moved to software testing.
Okay, that's great. That's great to hear. So don't worry, guys. Like if we talk about automation, yes, we do need some programming knowledge in order to work on automation. And even if we are talking about Selenium as an automation these days, in case you are planning to switch your career into manual testing as well, then also Selenium is something like a prerequisite. So every next opening, even in manual testing, you're going to find that Selenium is mentioned somewhere in the job description, that you should have some exposure or some knowledge on Selenium automation tool. Right. So in order to work on Selenium, there is a basic programming that is required. It's not of a development level because we are not going to develop anything. So we don't need any advanced programming knowledge. Like if I talk about Java, then we need only the basic Java concepts that is available in core Java. We don't need any advanced framework like Hibernate, Struts, J2E, and number of frameworks are there in Java. We don't need all those frameworks. We need only basic concept, like you must have studied something like if, else, loops, arrays, classes, objects. So these are some of the things that we'll be needing. But again, in case you are very new to the programming world, don't worry about it at all, because once we start with the core Java part, so everything will be started from scratch. I know we have mixed audience today, so there are some people who have already completed their core Java sessions, and now they are starting with the Selenium part. And there are many people who are joining for the very first time today. So we're gonna start everything from the scratch. The next two sessions, that is like today and tomorrow, that we are going to do are the introductory sessions on Selenium. So in these two sessions, you'll be familiar with what exactly Selenium is, how like you'll be working with Selenium, all the prerequisites that is required. And we're going to start with basic configuration, and we're going to launch some of the website by writing a very little code. Even if you're not aware with programming, just take these as a lightweight sessions only, because once the core Java part is started, so everything will be started from ABC, from the scratch itself, right? Okay. So Ahmad is saying just completed core Java, but never had any coding knowledge. So that's fine. I mean, now, like, let's say, even if you are done with the core Java sessions, so like you have not practically implemented those core Java concepts anywhere. And if you don't practice those concepts, like you must have studied inheritance, polymorphism, basic groups concepts, collections, if you don't implement them practically, then after a few months, you're going to forget all these concepts. But once you're coming into automation, once you are practically implementing using these things in automation, that will actually going to help you in building up your base for programming. So once you implement it in automation, you'll never going to forget those concepts. And you'll going to feel it very interesting. I mean, it's not like, I know writing a program could be a little boring, like when you were studying C, C++, or basic Java, just as a concept, just for knowledge sake, it looks little boring. But when you're practically implementing it, you're writing 2-3 lines of code, and you're seeing that a website is getting launched, all the actions are getting performed, then you yourself will gonna find it very interesting. And that is what is helping you in building up your base for that programming. And then you'll never gonna forget that why and where we are going to use array, why we are using some nested for loops, or why we are using collections. Practically, it is going to come in your mind, and you're going to implement that thing in your project accordingly. Right. So before we get started, do you guys have any questions, any queries before we get started?
Rahul, we will start with core Java first, or this batch will continue with Selenium?
No, I mean, we'll be starting with core Java concepts from the next week. So this batch is going to divide into two parts. People who have already completed core Java will be continuing in the same batch from next weekend. Will be starting with the Selenium part, and people who are joining for the very first time will be continuing in the core Java batch. So core Java is taken by a different instructor. So he is also an automation lead, is working in Mumbai, and he is taking our core Java sessions over here from long time. Is one of the expert in core Java. And whatever, I mean, he's actually gonna help you in building up your base for Java. And whatever Java that you will be learning, I'll be taking like all those sessions in practically in the Selenium part. So all the Selenium concepts, your framework designing, your live projects, all integrations, I myself going to cover. Right, so complete Selenium part will be covered by me. All right, any more questions?
Rahul, one query. I could not attend all the sessions of Java. So can I join the new batch of Java which is starting?
Yes, you can join that batch as well, or else in case you want to continue in Selenium, you can watch the recordings of the previous batch during the weekdays and can catch up in the Selenium classes as well. So that's completely your choice. So all the sessions will be recorded and will be hosted on this platform. And the best part is that, like most of you are already familiar with, that you'll be having complete access to this portal. So all the courses that you see over here, you're gonna have lifetime access to all these 30+ courses. And plus all the recordings of Selenium will be hosted over here. So your batch recording, the recent batch that is done with core Java, you're gonna find all the recordings over here. And the one that we are doing right now, this session is also being recorded and will be hosted just next to this particular lecture. So you're gonna get recordings from each day. Right?
Hey, hi Rahul, Suman this side. So
Yeah.
today is my first day. So for core Java, so what time we can join that core Java?
See, core Java, Selenium, both sessions will gonna run at the same time.
Okay.
So you can join either Selenium or Java. So in case you're not good in Java, first you'll be covering Java and then you'll be coming. Then the same batch will automatically be moved to the Selenium part as soon as your Java sessions are over.
Which link we have to connect for core Java? First.
That link I'll be forwarding to you.
Okay. So today we will continue with you only.
Yes. This week, I'll be taking you to the introduction of Selenium part.
Okay, done. Thank you.
Yeah, same thing from my side, Rahul. Actually, I want to start with the core Java first. So if you can send me the link as well.
Sure. I'll be sending it to you over the next week. The meeting invites will be generated for fresh meeting invites, and then will be sent to your email IDs itself. So WhatsApp group and all those things will be formed. You all will be added to the WhatsApp group, and meeting invites will be shared there itself.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Rahul, is the core Java? Hello.
Okay. Guys.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sumana here.
Yeah, Sumana.
Yeah. Is the core Java classes prerequisite for Selenium?
Yeah, it's a prerequisite for Selenium because Selenium, it's not like any UI or a record and play stuff. So we need to write a little code in order to automate the website, and that code is actually written in core Java.
Okay, you said the core Java classes will be taken along with this, right?
No, not along with this.
Part of this?
The batch is going to run parallel with Selenium.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
there are some people who have already done Java and they'll be starting with Selenium now. But the new people who are joining new will be continuing with the Java part from next week.
Okay. So this is my first class. So should I join the Java class now then?
No. I mean, these two sessions are mandatory even for the people who are going to start with Java from next week. Because in these two sessions, we are going to check what level of Java that is required. Why we are learning Java for Selenium. So what exactly is Selenium? How are we going to get started with that? So that is what we'll be looking in these two sessions. We are not going to deal with complex programs or all those stuff in these two sessions. These are very lightweight sessions. Don't worry about it.
Okay, thank you.
Rahul, for those who are not from the programming background and they want to proceed with the Java Selenium, so what you will recommend for them?
That's what I said. I mean, from next weekend, we'll be starting with ABC of core Java. And in the meantime, if you get some time, then try going through these core Java sessions of previous batch during this week as well, so that once the Java batch is started, you should be familiar with basic concepts like what are data types, what are variables, what is JDK, JRE. These are the stuff that you should be familiar with before the batch starts. So if you get some time during next week, try going through a couple of sessions of core Java from here.
And Rahul, for joining the core Java, do we have to intimate you separately, or you will?
No, you need not to intimate me. I'll be sending out emails to your email ID. You all are added, like people who are already enrolled, you all are added to the lifetime membership group. I'll be sending out the meeting invites directly in the group, and automatically you'll be receiving the same.
Okay, so those who want to join core Java lectures, join that.
Yes, you'll be getting meeting invites from all the lectures.
Okay.
Morning, Rahul. My WhatsApp groups, what do you call the core Java's group name changed to Selenium October 22.
Yeah, because that batch is done with Java and we are starting with Selenium.
Right.
New batch of Java will be formed. New WhatsApp group of Java will be formed.
No, I will follow. I will be continuing the Selenium.
Same.
So this group will be for that for Selenium.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Rahul, since we are enrolled in this, I am not able to access the website and all the courses. I'm also getting the same kind of error, lecture content locked.
See, in order to access your content, you need to go over here, click on login and enter your credentials. So the username and the password that you got initially at the time of registration. So once you log in with that, then you need to go to my courses and then you should be able to access all the courses.
So login, in the login, it comes email ID. So it is my email ID or any
your email ID itself, your email ID and the password that you received when you registered.
Password I received. It's not email's password.
No, it's not your personal email password. It's the one that was provided at the time of enrollment.
Okay.
You need to enter that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Samir, lifetime membership group is not on WhatsApp because WhatsApp has a limitation to just, I guess, 250 members only. So we have created a lifetime membership Google group that is that can have n number of students. So the meeting invites are sent in that group. So you can check that group.
Rahul, so Gaurav this side. So I have seen like half of the videos which are there for Core Java for batch 2022 August. So my question is, so I would see the remaining of the videos for Java by the coming next week. So what
Selenium will be added to this. For the Java, the new section will be added over here. That is batch October 2022.
Okay, so my question will be like, what level of practice would be required? Because I'll go through the videos till next week. So that is fine. But what level of experience would be required for me to directly take the Selenium batch, or I'll go for the Core Java batch
At
again?
least these you can see these 12 sessions. These covers the basic concepts. So you should be familiar with all these concepts before getting started with Selenium.
So just knowing, just getting through the videos, and that's it. Not so because there would be some practice that is required.
See, programming is something which you, if you don't do it from your hand, you're not going to get comfortable just by watching the video. So you can stop the video in between and try to write the same code and just see if you're getting the exact output in your Eclipse as well or not. So the more you write the code, the more you're going to get comfortable in coding.
Okay.
Right. Samir, you can ping me later on WhatsApp. I'll share you the Google group details. How much time it will take to cover the Core Java session? So you can see there are 12 sessions around in Core Java, at least 12 sessions. 6 weeks it is going to take for Core Java and 7 weeks it is going to take for Selenium. So in total, it is going to take at least 3.5 months to complete the entire course. Right? Any more questions? So what is this lifetime membership that you can check it from here? Basically, the concept that we are running, we are not enrolling you for one individual course. This is something like a very unique concept. You just need to enroll one time for this lifetime membership, and you can attend all our ongoing and future courses for free for lifetime. Even after 1 year, you want to attend Selenium Python or API automation, JMeter performance testing, any course that we are running, that will be free for you. You need not to pay anything. I mean, you can repeat your batches a number of times. In addition to this, you get like lifetime access to all these courses in a form of a video library as well. So you can even go through the recordings, or you can attend the live batches as well.
Rahul, one last question. This 3.5 months course will include some live projects.
Yes, we'll be working on 2 live projects during the live training, and end-to-end framework designing will be covered. And addition to this, you'll also gonna get access to this automation architect 7 live projects course. So this is again a very unique course, especially on live projects and end-to-end frameworks only. So once we are done with 2 live project in the live training, then I would recommend you to go through this course as well. So after going through these 7 live projects, you'll be very much confident. And in case you want to justify your 2-3 years of existing experience in automation, Selenium, you can easily do that.
Okay, yeah. Thanks.
Sure, Gaurav, in case you have already gone through Core Java, then you can directly join the Selenium sessions. And if you have any questions, any queries, then you can put it in the WhatsApp group as well, or you can even directly chat with the Java instructor, or you can even forward it to me as well. All right. Any more questions before we get started? Okay, so in that case, let us very quick get started with our training. And the agenda of today's training is to understand what exactly is Selenium, because that is what we are going to study in the entire course. So what exactly is Selenium? Anything and everything that you know about Selenium, just let me know. Maybe you have read somewhere, studied, or done some research, or have practically worked on Selenium. Anything that you know about Selenium, just let me know.
It's a testing framework.
It's a testing framework. So it's a testing framework.
It is
Of what?
It is used to do the automation for web-based application.
For web-based application testing only. Browser automation tool. Okay, so is it a tool or a testing framework? Okay, anything else apart from this? Automation, it's an automation tool. We can write it's an automation tool. How about others? Guys, let's make this session very interactive. Very interactive. So
It's a browser-based automation framework.
Browser-based automation framework. Okay.
It is used for functional testing only.
For functional testing only. It's a function. It's, you can say, a functional automation testing tool.
Open source.
It's basically used for
Open source. It's an open source. Open source means no license required to work on Selenium. It's completely free of cost. Anyone can download Selenium and can start working on it without paying anything.
Many type of languages can.
So it has got a multi-language support. What all languages?
Java, Python, Ruby.
Java, Python, Ruby, C#, PHP, JavaScript. All major languages in the world are supported by Selenium. What else?
Multi-browser support.
It has got a multi-browser support. So all major browsers like Chrome, Edge, Safari, Opera, IE, all major browsers are supported. It's a collection of classes and interface. That's correct. What else? What else it supports? Anyone?
Can be integrated with Git and Maven also.
Okay, a lot of integrations can be done. Integrations like Git, GitHub, Maven, Jenkins. It's an API, correct? It's an API. Yes, Ahmed, that's fine. Anything else?
Can integrate with the TestNG and Cucumber BDD framework.
TestNG, Cucumber BDD. Okay. Parallel test execution.
Yeah.
So what do we use for parallel testing? Is Selenium for parallel testing? TestNG, great.
TestNG is for parallel testing.
Okay, someone says grid. Is grid for parallel testing? Grid is one of the component of Selenium. How many components are there?
3.
What are those?
Grid, Webdriver, and
IDE.
IDE. RC was one of the version, but now it is not there. That was there up till Selenium 2.0 only. What is the current version of Selenium?
4.0.
4.0, or I guess it's 4.5. The official version is 4.5. So 5 is the build number. So prior to that, it was 4.4, 4.3. So generally we call it as Selenium 4. So we can call it as 4.x. Right? It means prior to this, it was Selenium 3.0. Then it was 2.0. And then it was Selenium 1.0 as well. So now we have the 4th release of Selenium. And which company came up with Selenium? Anyone knows the company name?
Yeah,
ThoughtWorks. Correct. So ThoughtWorks is the one who started with Selenium initially. In the year 2004, this project was initially started by a person named as Jason Huggins at ThoughtWorks, which is the main website of Selenium.
Selenium HQ.
Selenium HQ. Is it Selenium HQ? Selenium headquarters? See, even if I type seleniumhq.org, this was the previous website of Selenium. Now it will be routed to selenium.dev. This is the official website of Selenium, where you can see Selenium automates browsers. That's it. And if I go to download, you will see the current version of Selenium is 4.5. Right. So let's go back over here and let's read the very first statement again. Selenium automates browsers. That's it. It means Selenium is only for web-based application testing, not for any other application. What all other applications are there? We have web-based and
desktop mobile.
We have desktop-based application.
Mobile app.
We have mobile applications.
OTT applications.
We have database applications. Anything else where we perform manual testing or automation testing?
Different operating systems.
Operating system, what do we test on that? We test some applications, right?
Yeah.
So what these are the 4 major applications which we generally perform testing on: web-based, desktop, mobile, database. There is one more area which is again very, very popular.
OTT.
Sorry?
OTT.
Port 80.
OTT. Like Netflix Prime on televisions.
So those are those are like TV-based application where we perform testing, right?
Those are mobile applications. For broadcast we do we play the, but it comes under mobile or web testing.
Exactly. So these days we perform testing on mobile as well as we perform testing on live televisions as well. Right? We have touch LEDs as well available where we perform testing. And we have API testing as well. So API testing is again very, very popular.
device testing, network connectivity, other things like mobile. And it comes under mobile testing.
Mobile testing.
Yeah, if you are saying mobile as a app, then it's different.
Yeah,
thing.
we're talking about mostly we're talking about functional testing at this moment.
Correct.
So functionality can be tested on some application, right? Or it can be tested through an API as well. So it's not like there has to be a front end. So we can do a backend testing as well. So in backend as well, we are testing some functionality like a backend API for login API, for mail API, for n number of APIs are there, right? So we perform API testing as well. So
web services.
Yeah, API testing or web services are similar. So here we test RESTful APIs majorly. So prior to that, we have SOAP, which is now almost gone from the industry, right? So these are the major areas where we generally perform manual testing, and then we do automation of these applications as well. And if we talk about Selenium, Selenium comes only here. That is web-based testing. But then why Selenium is very popular? I mean, if we talk about automation, the very first thing comes in our mind is Selenium. Why not other automation tools? Whereas Selenium can only handle web-based applications, but still it is very popular.
It's an open source freelancer.
Open source, multiple language support, and multiple browser support.
It's an open source. First open source, we cannot say first open source because there were many other open source tool that came prior to Selenium as well, although they are not very much popular. So why Selenium is popular? Because there are some features in Selenium which makes it very unique in the industry.
Basically, applications runs over the browser, either in mobile. So, so basically that's why the popular, because of browser will be everywhere for any applications.
So prior to Selenium, have you heard about any other automation tool which could be a paid tool as well? Any other automation tool that you have heard which can automate web-based, which can automate desktop application?
QTP or UFT.
QTP UFT, right? So this QTP UFT was the biggest competitor of Selenium. So prior to Selenium, if we talk about automation, then QTP comes into our mind. There were many people who have worked on QTP, spent a lot of years in QTP, and now they have to move to Selenium. Because companies have stopped working on QTP, not stopped, but there are very less requirement you will find of QTP UFT. Now it is being named as UFT because HP has taken over it. But initially, which company came up with QTP?
Mercury.
Mercury. So it was like Mercury QTP. And Selenium was designed to give a competition to QTP. This is because, I mean, if we talk about the history behind the name of Selenium, so like before Selenium, if we talk about Mercury in general terms, what is Mercury? I hope everyone have seen Mercury.
Yeah, it's like using thermometers to.
It's in thermometers, right?
It's
so, yeah, it's in liquid form. It's poisonous, right? So there is a saying: if someone breaks thermometer and intake that mercury, then he'll gonna die. So in order to save that guy, we give him an antidote. That is what Selenium is. So Selenium is basically an antidote to mercury. Selenium kills mercury. And that is the reason they have given this project name as Selenium, so to end the market of QTP mercury. And up to such an extent, they are successful as well. Not just because of the cost, that's true. QTP UFT is fully licensed. The license cost is very expensive. And although it can support web-based and desktop-based application testing, there's a whole big record and play feature available in QTP. You need to write very less code, very less script. Most of the things are auto-generated, but still companies are not using UFT. Companies are using Selenium. Companies are using other open source automation tools. And the topmost tool that is used in industry is Selenium itself, if we talk about open source industry. Now, why it is that? Because if we talk about the current industry, so all the applications, 90% of the applications are accessed via URL, because it's a time of cloud computing. Everything is on web. Every project, every next project is on web, right? And these days, many cloud platforms are there. AWS is there, Azure is there, Google Cloud Platform is there. So the main, like the entire infrastructure is on cloud, right? You can set up a machine on cloud, on AWS, on Azure. You can set up your application over there. You can access it from over there. So if everything is on web, then same thing that QTP can automate, same thing Selenium can also automate. So which company should prefer, by paying a heavy license or completely free of cost? So this is one of the major reasons, because Selenium can automate anything and everything available over a web. So that is the reason why companies are choosing Selenium. Now, that's not the only reason that Selenium is open source. Selenium is open source, but there are a lot of things that QTP cannot do, a lot of things that other automation tool cannot do, can be easily integrated using Selenium. So this is because if we talk about Selenium, Selenium is not a tool. Selenium is not a testing tool. If we talk about tool is something that we install on our machine. We get a exe file, a setup file. We double click on it, do next, and do the complete installation. We get a complete software where we can do record and play. We can do scripting. We use n number of features of that tool, which is like QTP UFT. It comes with a huge setup that we need to install, and then we need to start writing the script or start using the record and play and use the other features of that tool. It is not like that with Selenium. You cannot see Selenium, right? Selenium is not like you get some exe file which you are installing on your machine. You cannot install Selenium. So if Selenium is not a tool, then what exactly Selenium is? It's a testing framework. That's correct. It's a framework. It's a collection of libraries. It can also be called as an API, right? If we talk about Selenium, you said Selenium is available in multiple languages. It supports multiple languages. When we are talking about Selenium in Java, it is available in a form of a jar file. You talk about Selenium in Ruby, it is available in a form of a gem file. In C#, it is available in a form of a DLL file. In Python, it is available in a form of a Python package manager, right? Same way, every language has got its own binding, where Selenium is available in a form of some library only. My voice is breaking sometime. Is it for everyone? Like, do you see any lag in the voice?
No, Rahul, not
No, I don't see anything, Rahul. Looks good.
No,
Rahul.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for confirming. Imanshu, please check at your end, because I'm actually on a very high-speed internet connection. So.
Okay, I will check.
Sure. Right. So that is what I was saying, that Selenium cannot be installed. It is available in a form of some libraries, and we can also call it as an API. So Selenium basically is an API. Now, what exactly is an API? So in order to understand what Selenium is, what Selenium contains, how we're going to configure Selenium, so we first need to understand what is an API. So can anyone tell me what is an API?
Application package interface.
Application programming interface. That's a full form. So what do we have in application programming interface?
Web services, simply request and response for the
request and response. So we are relating APIs with web services only. So API itself is a huge term, not just web services. API itself is a complete project. What that project contains?
It's a set of classes and interfaces and all the reuse to develop the web applications.
Reusable functionality.
Yeah.
Access resources over HTTP.
So API is basically collection of you can say a lot of functionalities which is already developed. And then you are using those functionalities in a different project to, let's say, develop something of your own, or maybe you are extending that functionality and then making a use of that functionality without rewriting that functionality, right? So there is a company who has already developed an API, already developed a project. It could be in any language. Maybe the project is developed in Java. That project contains the collection of classes, collection of functions, methods, which is already developed. Now, as an end user, you are using that already developed library and you are generating something of your own. You are using that library in your project instead of recreating that particular functionality. For example, let's say, let me take a practical example. Let's say I'm a Java developer and I work with some xyz.com, and here I got a task to develop a calculator. So in a calculator, there are various operations available. I can add, subtract, divide, multiply, and so on, right? So as a Java developer, if I need to design a calculator, how will I do that? I'll be creating a class with the name as calculator. Now, I hope everyone is familiar with this term, which is called as class. I'm not saying that you have practically designed a class, but you must have heard about there are something called as classes, objects, functions, right? Maybe you must have studied in C, C++, Java. Anyone who has never heard about what classes are? So don't worry about, I mean, in case you don't know what a class is, don't worry about it. Just, as I said, take these 2 sessions as a lightweight sessions, because once we move to the core Java part, we'll be starting it from scratch, right? This example is just to make you understand how we are going to work on Selenium, because Selenium is not a tool. Selenium is just a collection of classes and methods. So a class or a methods which is already developed by a company. Let's say when ThoughtWorks started it, ThoughtWorks must have designed some classes and some methods, and then they have handed it over to to the world to make a use of it and to automate their websites. And they have made it open source, so we are not paying anything to access those classes and methods. But we are not developing anything of our own. That thing is already developed. We are just calling the functionalities from those classes. And how to call it? For that, we need to know the basic concepts, basic OOPS concepts. What is a class? What are objects? How to call a
class is a collection of objects?
Absolutely. Right. So don't worry about the programming part. Just try to understand the concept for today. Right. Even if you don't know anything in the programming, just see how the concept is designed. Right. Just see what level of programming that is required, because we are not developing anything. So we need not to get into very in-depth of the programming part in order to work on Selenium. Right. So let's say I have designed a calculator class. This is a class and this is the body of this class. Now I'll be creating these functions, these functionalities inside this class. In order to implement addition, I'll be creating some addition functionality. I'm gonna create this addition functionality in a form of a function over here. Function in Java are called as methods. So if I say method, just treat them as a function only. So this is the method, and inside this, I'm going to write some code which is going to add some numbers. Similarly, I'll be creating a method called as subtract. And in this, I'm going to write some code which is going to subtract some numbers. Then divide, then multiply, and so on. So one by one, I'll be creating all the methods, all the functions inside this class, and each function, each method is responsible for performing its own task. Like if you call addition, it will add some number, divide will divide some numbers. Now let's say I've completed the entire functionality. I want to call and test whether this addition functionality is working fine. So how am I going to call this addition method from this calculator class? What is the syntax of doing that? How will I call method from a class?
Class name.
By creating an object, correct. How to create an object of a class?
Class name reference variable is equal to new, then constructor.
Class name, reference variable, what should I write?
CL.
CL. Could be anything, right?
Yeah,
Equal
it
to
could be
new.
anything. Calculator.
Calculator. Correct. So this is how we create an object of a class, right? And how to call the method addition?
Using this reference variable, cal.add.
Cal.add, correct. So if I execute this much code, then it is going to execute the whatever that is written inside the addition method. Now, if I want to call subtract, I'll again say cal.subtract, cal.divide, cal.multiply, and so on, right? So if I execute this, whatever that is written inside these methods will be executed, right? But in order to call these methods, I need to first create an object of the class. And this is what the syntax of creating an object. Now, if I talk about this statement, what is an object inside this statement? You can type it in the chat box as well. What is an object inside this statement?
Call, cal, CL.
Cal. Cal is an object, right? Someone says new calculator. Is new calculator an object? Or is cal an object?
New calculator is the object, sir. Cal is a reference variable for the calculator object.
Okay. I can see many answers as cal. Some people are saying new calculator, some people are saying cal. How about others? What is an object in this statement? Is cal an object? Is calculator an object? Or is new calculator an object?
Calculator is an object.
Calculator is the object.
Yeah.
New is the keyword to create an object.
Absolutely. So yeah, this is what we need to understand. I know many people say cal is an object, but cal is not an object. An object is always created whenever we say new calculator. Cal is just a reference variable which is holding the address of an object which is created with the help of this new keyword. So in this statement, there are so many things. If I talk about this, we just said that this is a variable, a reference variable. Someone says new is just a keyword. This thing is a object. This thing creates an object, right? What is this thing called as?
It's a class.
Class return type.
This is a class.
Class type, right? It's a data type. It's a class type, right? This thing is basically called as a type. And what is this?
Operator.
Assignment operator.
Assignment operator. And what is this?
Method.
Method?
Constructor.
Zero or constructor.
Correct. So that's great. That's great to hear. So yeah, I mean, we'll be seeing these things practically as well. Don't worry about it. If you don't know what a constructor is, what an assignment operator is, we'll see this thing practically. So normally I'm writing the Java code in Notepad, but time have changed. There was a time when people used to write the programs in Notepad. Now there are many editors available in the industry with artificial intelligence. If we are not good in coding, these editors helps us a lot while writing code. If we make any mistake, they provide us suggestions. If let's say there are 100 methods inside the class, we need not to learn all those methods. We simply put a dot and we get the list of all the methods. We can choose the methods and can execute it. So it's very easy. The programming becomes very easy when you start using these editors. So some editors are paid, some are open source. Very popular editors are IntelliJ, NetBeans, Eclipse. So in the training, we'll be using Eclipse because Eclipse is completely open source and majorly industry is using Eclipse. So for training purpose, we'll be using Eclipse. In case someone of you want to use IntelliJ, then you can use IntelliJ as well because basic Java remains same in both editors. So Eclipse IDE will be using, that is integrated development environment. But there is a prerequisite to get started with Eclipse is that you need to have Java installed on your machine. So Java as in JDK, Java Development Kit. So the recent version of Java is, I guess, Java 18. I don't recommend you to download the latest version. Otherwise, you may gonna face a lot of integration issues if you're using Java 16, Java 18, or any version above Java JDK 11. The best recommended version is Java 8. That is JDK 1.8. You can use this or you can use JDK 11. These are the most supported version. So we need only basic core Java. So we don't need the very latest version of Java. There are some license feature as well in Java. Initially, Java was open source, but now we have some premium features in Java as well. So if we talk about JDK 1.8, this is completely open source, right? So I would recommend this in case you go to your control panel. If you have already installed Java, you can check what version of Java is there on your machine, because at times it happens to run some programs as well. You may need to install basic Java on your machine. So over here, you can just go and see which Java version is there on your machine. See, I have Java 8. I'm using this from long time and there is no need to upgrade to the latest version because all my integration works absolutely fine with this Java 8. All the latest version of all integrations works fine, like Selenium works fine, then Jenkins, Maven, anything I use latest works fine. So you can use JDK 1.8 or 11, not anything about this. So where to get it? You just need to go to Google and say download JDK 1.8. So this is going to come from the Oracle website now. So initially it was Sun Microsystem, but later on Oracle has taken over Java. So if you go over here, you're gonna see this is available for multiple operating system. Linux is there, Mac is there, Solaris, Windows 64-bit. This will work. If you are still using 32-bit, I would recommend you to move to 64-bit. And if you are still on Windows 7, then you may gonna face some challenges while doing later on integrations with different things. So best recommended Windows version is Windows 10, and it should be 64-bit, right? And then you need to download this exe file. So when you click on this exe file, it may not directly gonna get downloaded because this time you may need to create an account on Oracle. It's a free account, so just do a sign up on Oracle. And then once you're logged in, you should be able to download this exe file. See, it is asking for username and password. So just create a free account and download this file. Once you download it, you're gonna get a exe file. Just double click on that exe, next, and Java gets installed. It's very simple, like you're installing a simple software. So once it gets installed, you're gonna see some folders created inside your program files, and you'll see a folder of Java created over here. If you open this, you're gonna see two folders. One is JDK, the second one is JRE. JDK stands for Java Development Kit and JRE is Java Runtime Environment. What are these two? We need not to worry about it right now. What is JDK? What is JRE? What is JVM? We'll be studying about this in the core Java sessions, right? For the time being, what you need to do, once the Java is installed, if you open this JDK folder, you'll find a bin folder over here. And inside this, you're gonna find Java available here. So the very first thing, any integration that we are doing with Selenium has to be like all those integration. If I talk about Maven, Jenkins, they're not going to work if they don't find Java location on your machine. So what we need to do, we need to give this location, we need to configure this location somewhere globally on our machine. And where we do the global configuration, that is something called as setting up of environment variables. So if you go to start and type edit, you'll see this edit system environment variable. This is basically a shortcut. If you click on this, it will launch your system properties. And here you need to click on environment variables. And here you'll see two variables. One is user variable and one is system variable. You need not to do anything inside user variable. Under the system variable, click on new and create a variable name. Give it a name as Java_home. This is a standard name that everyone gives. And the value will be the path of your root folder, that is JDK. So this variable will be created and this is going to hold this value. Click on OK and you'll see Java home created, which is holding this value. Now find path variable. This contains your global configuration. Click on edit and you can see a lot of things already added over here, like your system 32 files are added. Then there must be some programs that you must have installed. By default, they add their entries over here so that they can be globally accessed from your machine. There are at times some settings are done, configuration are done when you are installing your OS. Some of the setting goes over here as well. So don't try to delete, modify, edit any of these existing configuration. Otherwise, it may hamper your existing running program, might corrupt your Windows as well. These are very crucial settings. So what you need to do, you just need to click on new, and at the end, you need to type %Java_home%. So once you do this, whatever variable that you have created and the value that you have given of JDK folder, this value will gonna come here. And where is Java? Inside JDK, it is inside the bin folder. So what you need to do, just give / and say bin. That's it. Like I've already done it over here. I'm not going to redo it, so let me delete it. So once you're done with this, click on OK, and what I did, I just deleted something. Anyways, I'm gonna cancel it. So once you're done with this, just click on OK and your Java will be successfully configured. Now you can go open up command prompt and type Java-version. Should show you the current version of Java on your machine, like mine is JDK 1.8. This is the very first configuration you need to do. And then you will be downloading the editor where you can write the Java code. So that will be Eclipse. Now that is again open source. Simply say download Eclipse and you'll be going to the Eclipse official website. Don't directly install from this because Eclipse comes with a lot of packages. You don't need the by default package of this. So click on download packages. And if you go over here, see Eclipse, there are so many components in Eclipse. It is available for Java, for C, C++, for PHP, for Ruby, for Python. Multiple languages are supported. You can write your code in Python as well in Eclipse. You can write it in Ruby as well. We need a very basic component to support core Java. So we'll be downloading this Eclipse IDE for enterprise Java developer. And this version will be supported JDK 11 and above. JDK, if you have 1.8, this will not be supported. You need to click on 2021-06. You can see over here, more downloads. Click on this and same component you need to download based on your Windows, Mac, Linux, whichever operating system you are using. Just click on it and it is going to download a zip file. See, a zip file, somewhere around 500 MB zip file will be downloaded. Once you extract that zip, I've already downloaded it. So it's inside my C drive, softwares. Once you extract that zip, you're gonna get a folder like this. If you open this folder, you'll see Eclipse folder. Open this. There is nothing installable over here. You see this application, just double click on it, will launch Eclipse. If Java is not installed, you're gonna see error over here itself. Eclipse will not run till the time Java is not there on your machine. So now, very first thing you can see over here is something called as Workspace. Now, Workspace is basically a location where you'll be maintaining your project code. Any piece of code you'll be writing, you'll be creating it inside some project, and that project will be stored at some location. That location is called as Workspace. So I'm going to name this Workspace as Selenium Batch October 2022. So if I click on launch, this is going to launch your Eclipse. And next time, if I want to open the same project, I'll just gonna give the Workspace as the location of that project, and that project will be launched in Eclipse. Right. Okay. Yeah, Amrita, you have any question? You're raising hand.
Yeah, so for Eclipse ID, this one need to have Java 11 installed because right now I have Java 1.8 in my system.
You have Java 1.8?
Yes.
So just download this version, the one that I'm using, 2021-06.
For Java 1.8, will it work? Because you were telling we
Yes,
need
yes.
to have
Java 1.8, it will work. If you have Java 11, I mean, if you're downloading the latest version of Eclipse, then you need to have Java 11 or above.
Okay.
Otherwise, this version, you just download this one from here.
Okay.
If you go over here, you'll find it here, Eclipse 2021-06. Click on this and download this one.
And Rahul, one thing actually in my system, in Java folder, I can see only JRI, not JDK. So I need
if you have, see, that's what, if you just type download Java, if you type download Java, then it will download JRE only. It will not download JDK. So you need to specifically tell download JDK 1.8.
Okay.
Right, because at times in case we need to just run some of the Java softwares, so we need this, we don't need JDK, we need just a runtime environment. That is what JRE is.
Rahul, is Java 10.0.2 is okay?
No, 10, no, 10, I don't recommend either 8 or 11.
It won't work with Java 10?
See, there might be some programs where you may gonna face integration related issues. So best stable one that I'm talking about is 1.8 or 11. Just see if 10 is also working fine on your machine, you're not facing any issue, then that's fine. Otherwise, if you face any integration related issues, then you can anytime move back to JDK 8. Right, so switching back won't be an issue. Even if you are using latest Java and you start working on Eclipse, you can easily write the Java programs. Maybe the later on when you integrate it with Jenkins and other stuff, then you may gonna face some integration related issues. Then you can uninstall it and install the JDK 1.8. It won't hamper anything, any running program. Don't worry about it.
Okay,
right.
Thank you.
So let us see, this is Eclipse. This is your project explorer. You'll be maintaining your project hierarchy over here, adding classes and interfaces, doing a lot of other stuff. Here you'll be writing the code, and here you're going to see the output of the code. We're going to talk about more Eclipse features once we proceed with the course. For the time being, we need to understand what is an API. And for that, I have started working as a Java developer, and I'm going to design a calculator. You need not to do it, right? You just need to understand the concept. So let me design a calculator. For that, I need to create a new project. I'm going to click on create a project. And from here, I'll be selecting Java project. Click on next. And here, at times, you can see in JR, it is showing Java SE 16. So if you don't have 16 installed, then choose 1.8 from here, right? And then give the project name. Any name you can give your project, give to your project. So let's say I'm designing calculator. I'll name it as Calci project and click on finish. Click on open. And you can see a Java project created. We have got two things over here. One is JRE system library and one is SRC folder. Anything related to code will be done inside SRC folder. JRE system library is the by default libraries of your Java. So why this is required, we need not to worry about this thing right now. So normally what happens if you work on Notepad, if you write the code on Notepad, then you need to add some manual imports. Like if we work on C, C++, we add include conio.h, studio.h. Same way, if you use Java, you need to add some import statement, import java.util.star, import all the Java packages before you get started writing even a basic Java program. This you need to do when you're working in Notepad. But when you're using Eclipse, all the Java libraries are by default mapped to your project. So you need not to worry about internal Java classes. You simply need to focus on creating your own classes. So I'm going to create a new class called as calculator because I'm going to design a calculator. And when I'm creating a class name, I'll make sure that it starts with a capital letter. Even if I started with a small letter, it is not going to give me any error, right? It is also allowed, but as per the coding standards, we should always start the class name with a capital letter, right? Everywhere, same process is followed. There is something called as camel casing, which we're going to discuss what camel casing is. And after giving the class name, check this public static void main and click on finish. And then here you'll see a sample code showing up over here. These are comments. We can remove it. Now you can see something in reddish color over here, something in black color. All these red color things are reserved keywords, some predefined keywords. There is a meaning to this, what public is, what private is, what protected is. These are called as access modifiers or access specifiers. We have something called as static, non-static. We have a return type, void. What are these things? Don't worry about it right now. These things will be covered in detailed core Java sessions. What is public, private, protected? What is static, non-static members? What is a method? This thing is a method. This thing is a class, right? Don't worry about these things right now, right? For the timing, we don't need any understanding of these things. Just tell me how, let's say when we start with any programming language, the very first thing is we do some printing stuff. So if I talk about, if you have ever worked on C, how to print in C? How do we print in C?
Maybe printf.
Printf, correct. C++?
Cout.
Cout, correct. Code Java?
System.println.
It's system.out.println. So very first program of any programming language is to print hello world. So if this is the run button, if I click on run, then you're gonna see hello world is printed, right? But we're not here to print hello world. We are designing a calculator project in which we have various methods available, like add is a method. Now, see, when I'm creating a method, I'm starting it with a small letter. Even you can see this is main. This is a main method. By default method in Java, anything you need to execute in Java should be written inside this method body, right? But Java is also starting it as a small letter. Class will always be capital letter. So as I was talking about camel casing, let's say there is a 3-letter word, or let's say there are 3 words, something called as the dark night. Now, if I write it like this way, it is not very readable. To make it readable, if it is a class name, I'm going to start it with a capital letter, the. And any word joining will be in caps. The dark night. Now you can see it is more readable. And it is in a camel form. Same way, if it is a method name, we'll start it with a small letter. Anything joining will be in caps. So this is a method name. So now you should be able to understand what is a method and what is a class. If you look at anyone else's Java project, same concept, you'll find it over there. You should be able to understand what all classes are there, what all methods are there. Even Selenium guys have used the same camel casing concept. Right? And it's not like if I create this. Sorry?
Start with a small.
Yeah, that's what I say. If I write it in capital letter, it is not going to throw any error. But this is a standard, a coding practice that we should follow. Method name should always start from a small letter. Class name should always start from a capital letter. Right? And now we can write the code inside this to add some numbers. But right now we are very new to coding. So I'm not going to write any code over here. I'm just going to print something. Printing as in adding some numbers. So when you call this add method, it is going to print adding some numbers. Same way, let me copy and paste this and create some more methods over here. So one is subtract, one is divide, one is multiply, and this is going to print subtracting some numbers. This is going to print dividing some numbers, and this is going to print multiplying some numbers. So let's say I've designed the complete calculator project. All the methods are created, functionalities are created. Now I want to call this addition method and want to check whatever that I've written is successfully executed or not. So how am I going to do that? We have already mentioned this thing over here. I need to create an object of calculator class. And this is the syntax. So let me copy this and paste it over here. Let me remove this system out println. And in main method, let me paste this. See, I'm not getting any error. It means this statement is correct. Error in the sense, in case of calculator, if I write calculators, then you can see it is highlighted in red color. Right? Because this is not correct. If I do a mouse over on this, Eclipse is providing me suggestions. And Eclipse is saying calculators cannot be resolved to a type. So this thing is called as a type. And it is giving me some quick fixes. Create class calculators. If I click on this, it is going to create a new class calculators. But why do we create a class calculators when we have a class calculator available? So change to calculator. Click on this and it will be changed to calculator. So this thing is a type. And now if I say cal dot, see, I got a list of all the methods that I have created. So one is add, and I simply call it. Save this, run this, and you're going to see adding some numbers executed. Same way, I'm going to say cal dot divide, cal dot subtract, cal dot multiply. One by one, I've called all the methods. If I click on run, you're going to see everything successfully executed. Now there is one more method, which has got a same name as of the class name. What we call it as? A method having a same name as of the class name.
Constructor.
Constructor, correct. So what are constructors?
Used to initialize objects.
Used to initialize objects, correct. Anything else?
Initialize the objects with a particular state.
What else?
Used to define the instance variable value.
Correct.
And also we can write our logics inside the constructors as well, because
we can write some logic, we can write some code. So as I said, it's like a method, so I can write some code over here as well. I can say calling constructor.
As this will definitely execute.
Right? So constructors are like a method having a same name as of the class name. And the most important thing, this is the very first thing that will be called as soon as we create an object of a class. right? So it is used to initialize variable, but this is the very first thing that is called as soon as you create an object of a class. Right now, we don't have any variables over here. We don't have any variables over here. Even let's say I don't write this. We are creating an object over here, right? In this statement. If I click on run, the very first thing that will be called is a constructor. We need not to explicitly call it. We're not going to say, like we said, cal.add. We're going to say cal.calculator. See, we don't get it. We cannot call it like this. This is not a method. This will be called automatically as soon as we create an object of a class. An object is created inside this statement. So again, I'll come back to the same question. What is an object inside this statement? Many people says cal is an object. Let's say cal is an object. So if cal is an object, I'm going to remove this. See, this is still a valid statement. There are no errors. If this is an object, if I click on run, then the constructor must be called. So tell me, if I click on run, will it gonna give a call to constructor?
No.
No, right? So see, nothing happening because this is not an object. Now let's assume this is not an object and this is an object. So I've removed the initial part. Still, it is a valid statement. Now tell me, if I run this, will it gonna call the constructor? If you're saying this is object, it should call the constructor.
Yes.
Yes.
It should call the constructor.
Yes.
Okay, let's run it and see it is called. So this is where the object is created. If this is an object, why we need calculator calc?
As that is the reference variable, like using that, we can call the methods of the class.
We can call addition, division, subtraction, right? Without that reference, we cannot call methods from the class, right? Or can we?
No, we cannot.
We cannot. We cannot call addition. We cannot call division, right?
Yeah. So for creating a new object, we always have to create the constructors first. Then
No, there's a default constructor as well. If you don't create this, then also the object will be created.
Okay.
So don't get confused with constructor right now. Just tell me one thing. I have created object over here. Now I want to call addition method. So,
Rahul,
yeah, go ahead.
so here when we run this, nothing will be printed, right? Right now?
No, if you don't create a constructor explicitly, then nothing will be printed.
Yeah.
But the object will still be created in a memory.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So only when we try to call it, the other methods, that's when we create that calculator calc, and then we are able to call the methods, right?
Yes. Without that, without that variable, can we call the method?
Methods, no.
I think, yeah.
We cannot, right?
If we are putting that in a variable, calculator cal is equal to new calculator.
You're saying
calling
putting it inside this constructor?
No, if we don't create a constructor, and same way calculator class cal is equal to new character. Then
No, without calc, I'm saying.
By using the class name also.
See, I can still call it. See how? But
Yeah,
just putting a dot over here. See, if I run this, you're gonna see addition is printed. Right? Now, what if I want to call subtract? How will I do that? Again, I need to do the same stuff.
Create the option.
Again, I need to do, see, in order to call 4 methods, what I'm doing, I'm creating 4 objects. See, constructor is called 4 times. If we need to call 100 methods, are we going to create 100 objects? That is not how it is done. We'll be creating just 1 object, and all the methods will be referred from the same object reference. So in order to do that, wherever the object is created, we'll be storing that address in some variable And we can name it anything. We can say it ABCD, XYZ. We generally give it a meaningful name, so we call it as calc, right? So this is just a variable. And every variable must have some data type, must have some type in Java. Like if we are storing a value in a variable value equal to 100, what will be the type of this variable?
Integer.
Integer. It will always be int, right? If I want to store my name over here, can I store it inside int?
No, string.
It will not work, right? So whatever the value is, the type will be corresponding to that. If the value is of string type, then I need to write it as string, right? If it is numeric, then I need to write it as int. So what is string? What is string in Java?
String of characters.
Text. It stores text values.
But what exactly is string?
The class.
It is a class.
Data type, correct. It is a data type. And correct, this is a class as well. See, if you mouse over on string, string itself will tell you string class. String is a class. It's an internal Java class. If string is a class, then what value is?
It's a variable.
Variable, or we call it as reference variable or object reference. So when we do value dot, it will show us list of all the methods inside the string class. See, all these methods, you'll see string written over here. So all these methods belongs to string class. And this is the same thing we are doing over here. Like when we are storing this value, we cannot store it inside string. We cannot store it inside int. It is not going to work. The type will be of the same class type. That is the reason we write it like this. This is a type. This is a reference variable. This is assignment operator. We are assigning this value. This is a new keyword. And this itself is a constructor. So that is what the statement is. And now when we call the methods one by one, calc.add, calc.divide, calc.subtract, calc.multiply, save this and run this, you'll see only one object is created and all the methods are referred from the same object. So these are some very, very basic concepts, but these will be taught in the core Java sessions in the beginning. So don't worry about these concepts. The purpose of creating this is like I have created a calculator project. Maybe I have written some 100 lines of code over here. Now, what I want, if anyone wants to do addition, division, subtraction, he should not recreate this functionality. I've already put all my effort in designing this, and I want that anyone from US, UK, Canada, any part of the world wants to do addition, division, he can access my project. And I am not going to charge anything for this project. So this is going to be complete open source project. Open source does not only mean that free of cost. Open source means anyone can contribute into the development of this project as well. Maybe there is a developer who likes my project and he wants to add some functionality like calculating square root, percentage, and number of anything other things, and he wants to enhance this project and take it to the next level, then he is most welcome. So it's a free of cost project. He can do his development inside this project. And if anyone wants to use it free of cost to access addition, division functionality, to divide some number, multiply some number, then without rewriting the entire code, he can call addition method and do addition, division. So how to launch it as an open source project? What I'll do, I'll just right click on this project. I'll go to export. I'll select Java, click on jar file. And then I'm going to click on next. And here I'm going to name this project as calculator version 1.0.jar. So this is the very first version of my project. And I'll be storing it, let's say, on desktop. I'll save this, click on finish. And if you go to the desktop, you will see a calculator jar created. Now, is it like if I double click on it, is it going to install calculator on my machine? It's not going to do any installation, right? With this jar file, you're only going to come to know how many classes are there in this project, how many methods are there. But if the developer has not given you access to see the classes and the methods, to see the code, what is written inside addition method, you will not be able to see the code. But you can still access the classes. You cannot see the detailed functionality. What 500 lines of code written inside addition method. You cannot see that. But you can see the calculator class and you can access the addition method with the help of this jar file. Now I'm going to upload this jar file to my website, because website can be accessed from any part of the world. So anyone who wants to do addition division can go to my website, download this jar file and can access the functionality. Now let's say after publishing this project, I left this organization. I'm going to close this project. So let me close it from here. And now I joined a new company. Again, as a Java developer. This time I joined some banking domain, and I joined American Express, let's say. So their project was also built in Java. So there's a project called as MX project. And this was also developed in Java. And I joined in between of this project. So they already were having some classes with the name as banking. And there were some methods already available over here to calculate profit, to calculate loss, right? This was all in all a new project that I was hired for. And they asked me to implement a functionality to calculate, to add salaries for n number of employees. Something similar to what I have created in my previous organization in addition method, I need to implement here as well. Now there are two things I can do. Either I create this addition method from scratch over here as well. But that addition method contains 500 lines of code. I can write it again, but it was a very complex logic. It may gonna take me days to finish it. But why to put that much effort when addition is already available in the open source project? So what I have done, I've gone to that website of my previous organization, downloaded that jar file, and then right-clicked on my project, gone to build path, click on add external archives, and then I have selected this jar file. And that's it. See, jar got added as a reference library. If you expand this jar, you should be able to see the calculator class, should be able to see this addition division methods. But I'm not able to see the code, and I don't worry about the code because I'm not developing calculator. I'm just going to access this addition functionality. And how are we going to access it? By creating object of this calculator class, basic Java concepts. So I'll be creating an object of calculator calc equal to new calculator. And inside this, I want to implement the addition logic. So I'll simply say calc.add. Let us change this name to add salary. Right, guys, put yourself on mute because there's a background noise coming. Let me mute everyone from here. Yeah, thanks. And let me add a main method over here. So now I want to call this add salary method. How to call this add salary? This method is inside banking class. So I need to create an object of banking class, right? Whenever you want to call any method, you just need to create an object of that class. And now you say b.add salary, that's it. If you run it, you're gonna find same code is executed over here as well. So without rewriting the entire logic, entire code, I've accessed that functionality in my new project with the help of this jar file. So if we talk about this jar file, this is what it is acting as an API to this project. Right, so calculator is an API for American Express project. And if you're talking about Selenium, Selenium is one of the same thing. Selenium is available in a form of a single jar file or multiple collection of jar files. If you go to this website, to the official website of Selenium, that is selenium.dev. So to get started with Selenium, you just need to go to download and download this jar file. That's it. See, just a 23 MB jar file, and now it is downloaded. right? It's in my downloads. So what I can do, I can just, in case I want to use Selenium in the same project, I'll right click over here, go to build path, add external archives, go to download, and add this jar file. This is the one. Click on open, and that's it. Now I've added Selenium. I can automate any website in the world easily. That is what you need to do. Right now, you can get started with Selenium. How? So, calculator jar file contains calculator class. Selenium jar file contains Selenium classes. Let's say I want to automate something. I want to launch a browser and want to navigate to any website. So on Chrome browser. So instead of this, I'm going to call a class called as Chrome driver. Chrome driver, driver equal to new Chrome driver. See, that's it. And I'm not getting any error. My Eclipse is able to understand what this Chrome driver is, because this class is coming from this jar file. If I remove this jar file, if I go to build path, remove, see now Eclipse is throwing me error. It is asking me to create this class. Why should I create it? It is already created and inside some third-party project. I'm adding that project in a form of a jar file, in a form of an API, and see all the errors are gone. Just by creating an object of this class, if I click on run, I will be following one more step, but don't worry, why am I doing that? So I'm going to add one file from here. So let's say if I go to, just give me a moment. Or let's say I'll download it from here. I'll tell you why we are doing that. I'll go down and from here,
Hold one query before you move. This Selenium that we are downloading 4.5.0, is it same for Mac and Windows?
Yes, the jar file remains same for all operating systems.
Okay, thank you.
Right, and then this is something which is a Chrome driver. You can see as the name suggests. Now, what this Chrome driver is, don't worry about it for the timing. We'll be understanding this once we understand the architecture of Selenium. For the timing, I'm just copying this and pasting it over here. And then forget about the step that I just did. Just focus on this step. When we create an object of calculator class, we were able to call the calculator methods. Now, when I'm creating the object of Chrome driver class, I'll be able to call the Chrome driver methods. But I'm not calling any method right now. I'm just clicking on run button. And let's see what happens. See, it launched a browser. Just by creating an object of Chrome driver class, a browser launched. So where that code is written? Maybe there's 100 lines of code written to launch this Chrome browser. But where is that written?
In constructor.
In constructor, exactly. So whosoever developer has created this Chrome driver class has created a constructor. This is the constructor. I mean, as soon as you create an object, the very first thing that is called is a constructor. We are not calling any method right now. Even if I don't write this, an object is created. And if we click on run, you'll see the browser launches. So whosoever developer has created this project has generated a jar file out of this project and have added this jar file to the website of Selenium. Now we are downloading this jar file. This jar file contains a lot of classes, a lot of functionalities, and Chrome driver is one of the class in that. And when you create an object of Chrome driver class, there is a constructor where the code is written to launch the browser. And what that code is, why should I worry? I'm not developing Selenium, right? I'm not a developer. I'm not going to do any enhancement in this project. I know Selenium is already published, a lot of companies using it, right? This project is very stable. and I want to use this project in my automation. So I need to know the basic concepts. How can I create an object of a class, and how can I call methods from that class so that I can start with my automation? So what I did, I created an object and then created a reference over here. Using this reference, I can call all the methods from this class. See, all the methods. One of the method I'll be calling as get. It is asking me URL in string format, means in double quotes. In double quotes, I'm going to write http google.com. Save this. And if I run it, you're going to see it's launching and then navigating to Google. Right? So
Rahul, I have one doubt, not clear. Actually, this new Chrome driver now is a constructor. Driver is a reference and Chrome driver is a class. So what is the object? Okay.
The object is created whenever you say new Chrome driver. There's an object created in a memory. And that address of the object is passed to this reference. And then using that reference, we call the method. So we can create n number of objects of this class. So there will be a copy that will be created, right? So classes, objects, there is a detailed lecture on this once you start with the core Java part. So then you will be able to understand what is heap, where the object is created. All these things will be covered in very depth.
Okay, so object is basically created in memory. Here I cannot say that
You will not be able to see it right now.
Yeah,
but
that, so Chrome driver, I can say this is a class. This is
this is basically creating an object. So you can print the address of that object as well, right? But if we try to cover those concepts over here, then people may gonna get confused.
Right, you're right.
Covering this in like the very first lecture of Java. Don't worry about it. Right. And same way, see how easy it is to work on Selenium. You just need to create an object, call the method one by one. Now I want to print the title of this page. So one of my test cases is to get the title. So simply the method is driver.getTitle. And how to print it? It's not a task of Selenium. Printing will be done in Java. How to print in Java? We simply say system out println. That's it. Then after launching the browser, I want to close the browser as well. So driver.close. One by one, you keep on calling the methods and you can automate the entire website. See, and okay, right now it looks some issue with the latest API with the close method. So connection reset. If I call quit over here, then it is going to work. So maybe latest 4.5 may gonna have some issues. And if I execute it, now it worked fine. Right? So this is how you get started with Selenium by writing a very basic code. And what you need, JDK, Eclipse, and the Selenium jar file to get started. That's it. Now you can automate any website in the world. And no need to pay any license for it. So that is how it is easy, very easy to work with Selenium. Right? But there are so many integrations that we do. If we talk about Selenium automation itself, then Selenium is just 25% in your automation. Selenium task is just to launch a browser, navigate to website, perform click, perform type, get the text, do some validation on the website. That's it. It is not going to report. Even if you write 100 lines of code over here, it will not tell you that how many test cases you have executed and how many are pass, how many are fail. If expected is equal to actual, then the test case pass, otherwise it fails. It's Selenium reporting anything over here. Is it telling that we have executed 3-4 test cases and how many pass, how many fail? This is not a task of Selenium. This is a task of external framework. We need to add one more API over here, which is called as testng. Right? So there are a lot of integrations. If you can see, you have listed down some of the things over here. There are n number of other integrations that needs to be done to form up a whole big project. And then we'll be implementing patterns like data-driven, keyword-driven, hybrid, page objects, page factories, Cucumber BDD, right? So prior to this, there are so many things. And I guess right now, we are already done with 2 hours of session. So we're not going to discuss everything in today's session. So we're going to keep something for tomorrow. So we're going to see what all things, what all integrations can be done. And then we're going to study something related to Maven. We're going to see some more concepts regarding Selenium in our tomorrow session. And then we're also going to see that if I know Selenium, then I can integrate all these things in one single project as well. Right? If we talk about QTP, why QTP or why other automation tools are not very popular if we compare it with Selenium? Because those are tools. Every tool has got some boundary. If you install QTP, you're going to get a software. Now, there could be 100 features in that tool, could be 200 features in that tool, but there is some boundary. If you have to automate something, you can use only those 200 features which are provided by UFT. If any additional stuff, because when we write test cases, we do a lot of permutation and combination. And it doesn't mean for every permutation and combination, there's the functionality available in QTP. If some functionality is not available, then what you'll do? You may go to HP, you ask for add-ons. They sell their add-ons as well. But add-ons are also paid. Sometimes add-ons are there, sometimes add-ons are not. If add-on is not there, then what you'll do? You'll say 100% cannot be automated. Right? So that is not the thing with Selenium. This is because Selenium is not a tool. There are no boundaries in Selenium. Anything that is feasible in Java, you can achieve that thing with Selenium. Like I talk about, I need to convert this to test cases. Whatever code that we have written over here, I want to convert it into test cases. Selenium is not going to do that. We have an external library called as TestNG. So if I right click over here, go to build path, add library, TestNG, next, finish. What I did, I added TestNG jars. This is another API. I've written this thing over here. Maybe I want to read this from Excel sheet. I keep my test data in Excel sheet. Now I want to do reading, writing from Excel as well. Excel is not a web application. Selenium cannot interact with Excel. But that is a need for the automation project. I want to keep my test data over there. I want to do validation, read the values from there, and then inject it into my website. How will I do that? For that, we need a third-party API, which is called as Apache POI API. And what is this? This is a jar file. Maybe I want to do some database connectivity. I want to read username, password information from database by writing some SQL queries. I want to fire those SQL queries on the runtime, and then I want to validate the data from database and compare it with the website. Selenium will not help me in doing database testing part.
By the help of JDBC.
Yeah, exactly. For that, you will be needing JDBC. So all your vendors like SQL, MySQL, Oracle, MongoDB, they provide their own jar files. You just need to add these jar files in your project along with Selenium, and you can create a database connection. So a lot of things are there. A lot of things are there. So these things we will be discussing in our tomorrow session. Let us keep it for tomorrow, right? Not mix everything. Otherwise, you may gonna get confused. But yes, for today's session, at least this much should be clear that in order to work on Selenium, there is nothing called as record and play, right? Although there is a small component of record and play available in Selenium as well, which is called as IDE, Selenium IDE. But this component is not at all used in the industry. It's only for the beginners who get started with Selenium. They try to play with record and play functionality. But practically, this is not used. Because in case you're using record and play, you cannot use these functionalities. You cannot integrate these functionalities with IDE. That is the reason. The only thing that works with Selenium is the coding part, and that too basic programming concepts, right? So we're gonna leave up till this much for today, and rest will be covering all these integration. We're gonna see how can we do these integrations and what all things we'll be learning, and we'll be discussing about this detailed syllabus as well. We'll be covering the latest Selenium 4 itself. A lot of integrations will be done. Like you can see Docker, Jenkins, AWS Cloud. So I'll be sharing this detailed PDF, and then I'll be explaining this PDF as well in our tomorrow's session. Right?
Rahul, I have one question. Small. So I have a IntelliJ IDE. So I think the Java is bundled with it. So I didn't have to install separately. So since the class is using, you are using Eclipse, right? So should I install the JDK separately, or would it conflict with the
IntelliJ or Eclipse, both are just IDs. Practically, when we start working on the project, we may not gonna use any IDE to execute our project. We may gonna do it from the command prompt, from Jenkins. Then those integration will not work if Java is not installed on your machine.
Okay, so but if I install the Java now, JDK, so would it conflict? I want to keep the IntelliJ as it is. So would it conflict with the Java that's there in the IntelliJ?
See, whatever thing that you're gonna keep in your environment variables will be incompatible with that IDE.
Okay,
so if you are keeping JDK 1.8, and then you create, I mean, in your project as well, you get an option to select which version of Java you want to choose. So if you choose 1.8, then you can select 1.8 from there. It
Okay,
won't
so
like you need
Flash,
not to worry
right?
about it. Yeah, it won't.
Okay, okay. Okay, so I can install JDK and I can install Eclipse, right? Even though I have IntelliJ. Okay, thank you.
Exactly.
Rahul, I have a question.
Yeah.
So it's related to my project, and so I have a project which I have like a N-unit framework with a C# code. So where I have updated my Chrome driver version in Visual Studio, which is downloaded the latest version of Chrome driver 106. But when I have updated the latest version, it's still, the version is downloaded for the project, still pointing to the older version.
And
I
that
have
is,
manually deleted that older version. So my local is working fine, but when it goes to Jenkins, it's still pointing to the older version itself.
so you
How
need to
do I
check.
resolve it?
You need to check Jenkins is pointing the same build, or you are getting the build from a different location.
No, same build.
So the best thing is to use Webdriver Manager library to automatically download the browser executables on the runtime.
I have that one, but thing is, it's still not been, I don't know, with the C#. Is it still be usable Webdriver Manager with the C# code as well?
I guess, yes, Webdriver Manager is there with C# as well.
Yeah, I have downloaded it, where it is not taking though. So that's where I am updating in Visual Studio itself,
So
where
you can try doing one thing. We have a C# session for Selenium, I guess, tomorrow. Tomorrow at I guess it's at 8 AM India time. So maybe you can try sharing your screen over there, and like the instructor may help you for C#, because like I'm completely from Java and the Python background. So
Yeah,
right now
understood.
I've not explored much on the C# part.
Okay, yeah. In general, which way is the best? Is the
Yeah,
Chrome
that's
driver?
what I said. In general, you should go through WebDriver Manager only. And I've seen there is a WebDriver Manager library in C# as well available. It is available in all the languages.
Yep. Okay, I'll try that one, but I don't know why it is still pointing to the older version.
Yeah, so
It is-
just try to troubleshoot it more. Like if you use WebDriver Manager, just go to the WebDriver Manager settings, or you can have WebDriver Manager point to a specific version as well. You can ask WebDriver Manager to download that latest version of Chrome Driver exe as well.
Okay, So in general, that WebDriver manager also still be whenever we have like a 105 version, which is a previous version of our Chrome driver, when we updated that one, it should automatically updated the older version to 105 to 106, the Chrome driver
Absolutely,
version.
absolutely.
So
If 105
rather
is
than
not
creating the
compatible.
separate one.
Yeah. See, if the browser gets updated to the latest version, and if the old version of executable is not compatible to the latest version, WebDriver Manager will automatically gonna download the latest executable on the runtime and will map it with your project.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Let me see that one. Thank you.
All right, guys. So thanks a lot, everyone, for joining. For tomorrow, the meeting invite, the link will gonna remain the same. You can join the same link tomorrow, sharp 8 p.m. India time, the same time we started today, right? And I hope you guys have enjoyed today's session.
Yes, yeah.
Rahul,
Thanks,
thank you.
Rahul. Many thanks.
Thank you.
So when you will share the Java core Java link?
Next week after this, after tomorrow's session, I'll be generating the meeting invites in the WhatsApp group, and I'll share it with you.
Thank you.
So this recording also, Rahul, you will be sharing it today in WhatsApp?
Yeah, this recording I'll be uploading it very soon, and we're gonna share it with every one of you.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Thank you
Thanks.
all. Thanks for joining.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ron.